Hey YouTube, so today I wanted to finish up my video from I think last week or 2 weeks ago when I was talking about choosing the right coach. So today I wanted to do my red flags video when I'm talking about certain things that a coach might do or say that it's a red flag, and you should reevaluate and rethink the relationship that you have with your coach. So the first red flag that I have for you is if your coach makes any sort of promises. Maybe your coach says, I promise you first place in your competition, or I promise you top 5. This isn't very realistic. A coach can't promise you anything like that. It's all about who shows up that day, who you're competing against, and there's no way that your coach should know that. Your coach can say, I promise I can look your best. That's very different than saying, I promise you first place, or anything that's super unrealistic or sounds too good to be true. So my second red flag, again, I have all my notes down here. I think this is really big. If they have some sort of magical peak week protocol, peak week should be very simple. You shouldn't have tons of variables that you're putting into your peak week. And Dr. Lane Norton talks about this. Peak week should be taking you from 90% to 95, 97 to 100%. This isn't going to take you, this isn't some magical week that's going to get you from 50% to 120%. That's not what peak week is. Peak week is you're peaking at your best physique. It's not taking you from not looking stage ready to looking absolutely amazing. So peak week should be very, very simple. If you're eating 50 to 100 grams of carbs, you're not eating 800 grams of carbs. Peak week should be small manipulations to get you looking your best on show day. Number 3, I think, is a big red flag for coaches, is if they have limited time only or limited space available, or they have all the secrets and it's only their coaching team that has all this. They're just trying to get your money. They're just trying to, it's like advertising. They're just trying to make their team appealing and make you feel like you have to pay now, or you have to act now in order to get this deal. And yes, there are coaches that have openings, the client openings that open up throughout the season, and that's very different. I think that it's important, a coach who says, I can't take on 100 clients because I'm not going to be able to individualize all my time to them, or I'm not going to be able to prioritize my time accordingly. So if they have a spot open up, I think that's different from someone who's trying to say, act now within the next 5 minutes, you can have me as a coach. Number 4, I kind of talked about this earlier, but if you have a coach who's starving you for an extended period of time, I really want to emphasize that extended, because I think Emily Duncan talks about this in one of her videos. I think it's coaches sometimes get a bad rep for putting their clients on low calorie or low carb diets. But sometimes during prep, that's what you have to do. You have to go through that grit. You have to go through those tough times that aren't fun, where you're going to be eating a small amount of carbs. But I think the difference is if you have a coach who's putting you on months of very, very low carbs, low fat, low calories, I don't think that they have your best interest in mind. So I think it's really important to have a coach who's looking out for your health and your well-being over a long period, an extended period of time. So I'm talking about low calories, 18 weeks out from your competition or anything like that. So I think that's important. So not just, a couple weeks, or, your peak week, you're eating 50 grams of carbs, or, pre-peak week, but an extended many, many months, or, Okay, red flag number 5, this is important to me, especially if you consider yourself to be a natural athlete. But if your coach wants you to take any sort of steroids or banned substances, or any sort of banned substances, to me as a natural athlete, that's not something that I want to put my body through. And I think especially for bikini competitors, I think that you can do very well without taking any substances or anything that's banned. So again, this is just personally for me, but I don't think that you should have a coach who is wanting to put you on anything, especially right out of the bat. So, you know, just look for that, ask up front, or if a coach tells you, you know, you should take this supplement, well, figure out what that is. Don't just take something to take something because your coach told you to. You want to figure out what it is, what it's going to do for you, if it's illegal, if it's a banned substance, but just look to that to make sure. Number 6, I've talked about this before, but if you have a coach who's putting you on any cookie cutter plans, so again, this is where doing your research comes into play. Go online, see if there's anything about that coach, anything that you can read. And again, not everything is going to be positive. But there are certain coaches out there where you can get a pretty good idea if you talk to past clients, and you can see if they really are individualizing their plans or if they're cookie cutter. Number 7, if I can count. Number 7, you want to look to see if your coach is overtraining you. You know, if you are starting 18, 12 weeks out, and your coach starts you on an hour of cardio every single day, fasted. I've talked about this before, but like, what are you gonna have to do a couple weeks out from your show if you're already doing so much cardio, if you're already working out so much? So your coach should ask you, you know, what's your training like now, before you even start prep, so they can get an idea if they need to reverse you, they need to cut back on your cardio, build your calories a little bit before you start prep, and to get you in a good position. Number 8, you feel like they have no time for you. You feel like, you know, if you email them, they're emailing you back 3, 4, 5 days later, or if you text them, you're getting very quick, short responses, and they're not really answering any questions for you. You're paying a lot of money for this coach, or, you know, if you're paying for a good coach, it's probably a decent amount of money, and you want to feel like you're getting your money's worth. You want to feel like you're important because they're taking your health into their hands, and that's very big for a coach. So you want to make sure that they have time for you, that you don't feel like you're bothering them or doing anything like that, because they're there to help you. Oh, I have a lot of red flags. I have a lot. Number 9, I'm going to run out of fingers too. So number 9 on my list of red flags is they blame things on you, or they blame things on other people rather than taking the blame themselves. So maybe during peak week, you don't peak to your best physique. Maybe you have too many carbs and you spill over, and then the coach turns around and blames things on you, saying that it was your fault, that you didn't do this, you didn't do that, or maybe for your cardio, if you check in and you didn't lose weight, maybe you gained weight, and the coach says, well, you must be cheating, it's your fault, rather than saying, okay, let me look at what I can do and see if I did anything, and they take blame. And that's not for everything. As most competitors know, sometimes you mess up, and sometimes you fall off your macros or your meal plan, and you don't follow everything to a T. But you have to admit that. You have to be honest with your coach in the same way that your coach is honest with you and tells you, hey, I messed up, I'm sorry, my fault, you know, we'll try this again. So I think that's a big or very good characteristic of a coach who can admit that they did something wrong. Number 10, I think this is huge, and again, Lane Norton talks about this a lot, but if you ask your coach a question, and you know, if you're trying to figure out, hey, why am I doing this, and their response is, trust me. This drives me nuts. Your coach is here, again, to help you, but also to help you learn. If you're not getting anything out of your coaching experience, if you're not learning, you don't have to learn every single check-in, but if you're not learning about yourself and you're not learning about prep and competing every so often, you know, why is your coach there? What is your coach there for? And they should have scientific evidence or something to back up their response to you, and they should be answering your questions and telling you, hey, that's a great question, we're manipulating your water this week because X, Y, and Z, or, you know, we're going low carbs for X, Y, and Z, not just trust me. You just gotta trust the process. And yes, sometimes this is an okay response. If you're, you know, texting, that's Perry. He's lost. Anyways, so sometimes maybe you're not feeling, you know, lean enough and you're texting your coach and you just sent them check-in pictures and you're like, I don't think I'm gonna be lean enough, and your coach just says, trust me, trust the process, you look great. You know, that's very different than, why are we doing this week? And they say, trust me. So look out for that. Again, I've run out of fingers, so 11. You want to see if a coach is sponsored by a supplement company. This isn't necessarily like a red flag where you're like, oh, they're sponsored by Cellucor, they're sponsored by PE Science, so therefore I can't work with them. No. But if you are working with a coach and they push all these supplements on you, you have to take name brand XYZ, you have to take this, you have to take that, use my coupon code, and they're wanting you to take everything under the sun, you know, I feel like there might be an ulterior motive, whereas you have a coach who says, you can take X, Y, and Z, you know, you don't have to, but this is what I recommend. You know, you can take whatever brand you feel comfortable with, whatever you like. And then, I mean, I feel like most coaches, most people who are affiliated or sponsored by a company truly genuinely like and endorse their products because they think that they're good products, which is fine. But when you have someone who's pushing supplements, you need this, then I think that's very different, and that's just something to keep in mind, something to look out for. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So I hope that you like this little coaching series. You know, first of all, if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll put the I will put the link down here. But I talked about questions to ask when you were looking for a prep coach and things to look for in a good prep coach. So let me know if you like both of these videos, if there's any other topics you would like me to cover. I will be having a full day of eating video soon. Perry! I will be having a full day of eating video coming soon, so look out for that. And I think that should wrap up the video. I try to keep it a little shorter, so I'm not rambling. I have my list. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe down below, and give it a thumbs up. And I will catch you guys later. Bye.